Welcome to the Well-Meaning Skeptic. I've been noticing a lot of talk lately about existential threats to humanity's existence encroaching from all directions. So what better way to make sense of all these new threats that we'll be facing, potentially, than with a list? We all like a good list or two, so I thought I'll make my own list of existential threats. How I'm organizing this list, basically I'm ranking them by what chances I think of this threat actually happening and the potential for it to actually wipe us out completely as a species. Then that's where I rank them from most threatening to least threatening. So let's get into it. My top 8 existential threats to our species. Starting off with the least threatening. Evolution works in mysterious ways, and apes might be already on the brink of revolution to overthrow its human overlords. But that being said, I'm not really losing sleep over worrying too much about the apes. The thing about apes overthrowing us is it doesn't seem likely. The potential for apes to completely wipe us out also seems low to me because I feel like they're going to want to use us for a labor force, keep a couple of us around at least, to do the work that the other apes don't want to do. We're going to be useful to them for something. I think the chances of being completely exterminated, unlikely, especially because I think some apes will have empathy for the humans and not really want that to happen. Overall, it's at the bottom of the list. Don't think it's likely to happen and unlikely to wipe us out.
Terminal freakout point. Mankind has gone rogue, terrorizing itself. Thermonuclear skirmish.
I haven't checked the doomsday clock lately, so I'm not exactly sure what time it is with regards to how close we are to nuclear war, but I imagine maybe the past few years have accelerated the clock a little bit. I don't know. I don't have much to base this feeling off of, but nuclear war feels kind of passé. Am I wrong to say that? I don't know. It feels like there's so many more trendy things in terms of ways of conducting war, that seem more in, whether it's like cyber war or the AI arms race. Those kinds of things seem more in vogue, and nuclear war seems to have taken a backseat. Now, I know there's still plenty of armaments of the nuclear kind that could still cause quite the havoc. I know we've gotten close in the past to nuclear annihilation, but nuclear war just seems to have been put on the back burner. But of course, this is just my own gut feeling. Most of these are just coming from the microbes in my gut biome, my butt biome. Now, the likelihood of it annihilating us, it would do some damage. But I think there'd still be pockets of people that would still be able to survive, whether they were isolated enough and far away enough from the blasts to carry on their day-to-days, or those that maybe got some of the radiation could still find some way of surviving, even if they might have been affected by the nuclear fallout. The penultimate place on the list goes to nuclear war for that reason.
He struggled all his life with the celebrity status thrust upon him as the world's youngest person.
Diego Ricardo, the youngest person on the planet, was 18 years, 4 months, 20 days, 16 hours, and 8 minutes old.
This existential threat is one I've been hearing a lot about lately. I still find it very interesting, but I just can't care on a personal level. It's not in my purview, It's not in my purview. Oh no, economies will really be shaken by this, and we're gonna have so few working age people being able to support the retirees, and, that's gonna cause some instability. And I'm thinking that we're already living in a lot of instability. Maybe the system needs to be getting a few more shakeups, Maybe we need to redistribute things, reorganize things, really take a critical look at what's working and what's not working, because our system's well overdue for a makeover. So you haven't convinced me yet to care. The smallest trombone in the world is for those that are concerned about underpopulation. I'm sorry, maybe I will care at some point. I just don't. That being said, chances of it happening? Well, it seems like it's already guaranteed to happen in most countries. That moved it up a bit on the list, but any chance of it wiping us out completely? Full sentence, no. We'll shrink a bit. Oh dearie dear. I just can't afford to give a bother about this one.
Rule number 1 for surviving Zombieland: cardio. When the virus struck, for obvious reasons, the first ones to go were the fatties.
Zombies are complicated, because on one hand, they can be a load of fun, but on the other hand, not something I want to deal with. Pandemics are more likely because, as we've seen, they do happen. Viruses can evolve quite rapidly, but to be able to evolve to not only infect humans, but to make them kind of ravenous undead monsters, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I think if it was to happen, I think it would be hard for humanity to survive, at least in the long term. Can humans sustain, 100 years of small groupings of people trying to wall themselves off from all the flesh eaters? I don't know. I think the species would struggle in the long term to survive zombies. Reminded of one of those paradoxes by good old Fermi, where why have we not come across aliens yet? Maybe it's just one of those things where it's impossible for a species to evolve their technology and their collective intelligence and morality to be able to evolve to the point where they become interplanetary and to develop the technology to be able to actually reach distant planets with other living species on them. So maybe we'll also not be able to get to that point where we actually can travel to the other end of our galaxy and find other species to interact with. That could be why we haven't come across aliens yet. Or maybe if you ever get to that point of, developing enough that you can travel to the other end of the galaxy, you've hopefully figured out a way to become harmonious with the rest of your species and benevolent enough to understand that there's no point just annihilating and destroying other species just for the fun of it, because maybe we're just ants compared to much more powerful and intelligent beings. Either way, the chances of aliens being able to get to us and also still wanting to, wreck us, I think is small. If they were to visit us, I think they'd be more benevolent. Now, if they were to reach us and they were wanting to wipe us out, I think they 100% would. I don't think it would be tough on their end to do that. But I think the likelihood of aliens managing to come here and then wanting to do the damage, I think is unlikely. I think the thing is, kind of like with underpopulation, is many people feel that we're already past the point of being able to reverse climate change. It's past the point of no return. Can we curb the worst effects of it? I know people like to hope that in the next few decades, the way technology's going, maybe AI can help us figure this whole climate change thing out. It's a bit of a silver bullet for me, like kind of a wishful thinking, to hope that technology will get us out of this mess. But that being said, I think the chances of it happening are guaranteed, but maybe we can in the next few decades find a way to keep it in manageable levels. Now, the chances of it wiping us out, let's say it even gets as bad as it could be, humans are pretty good at finding ways to inhabit pretty uninhabitable places. So I think some pockets of the Earth, humans could still find a way to survive. Maybe even if we have to burrow, get to the center of the Earth and live with the dinosaurs there, unlikely that it would do us in entirely. Can't help but think about the movie Armageddon. I would say that the chances of a meteor hitting Earth are quite high, considering it's not unprecedented. It seems to have happened before, right? Look at the dinos. We know it could happen again. Now, hopefully we have enough time to at least get some of us off the planet so that the species doesn't get wiped out entirely if we do get hit by another meteor, although I think if we do, it probably would wipe us all out. Made it hard for most species that live on land to continue doing what they do. That's why it gets the number 2 spot. It would be hard if like one of those really big, juicy, fatty meteors, like one of those really beefy meteors, those really thick meteors came in on us. I would struggle personally. A high chance of it taking us out if we couldn't figure out a way to get out. top spot goes to AI. Once we reach that sweet spot of the singularity, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it seems to be affecting a lot of industries, a lot of people's lives, and we're really just at the beginning of it, I feel like. So it got the #1 spot for me because it just feels like, to me, there just isn't enough in the way of like regulations, right? And figuring out how to regulate it. Yeah, a couple petitions. I just don't see proper precautions being put in place for this. It seems to still be kind of a wild west. Everyone just seems to be trying to accelerate it and utilize it as much as possible. And it freaks me out. I think it's safe to say that I'm freaked the feck out. This is one of the few that really concern me. A lot of the others, I don't lose too much sleep over. This one, I'm genuinely concerned about. So yeah, gets the top spot for me. And if AI really decides that it doesn't want to deal with us and we're a threat, I think they could wipe us out so easily. Yeah, they might more just enslave us like a Matrix situation, but could easily be a Terminator type spot that we find ourselves in. Unless we can figure out how to do the time travel thing to try and stop that from happening, I think the Terminators would wipe us out pretty quick. The bag of that I can give is kind of been getting smaller, I find, as I get older, but this is one that I have genuine worry regarding AI just screwing the whole thing up for us. Yeah, so that's my top 8 existential threats to humanity. What do you think of my list? I'd love to hear your take down in the comments, and I'll see you around, I'm sure. Peace.